Hi, I'm Meg Johnson, and welcome to today's Tender Mercy Moment. I am going to tell you about a very special individualized blessing that I received not too long ago. So I was driving through Logan, and I was listening to my new John By the Way CD, and I was really enjoying it. Well, actually, it was the second time that I'd listened to it because I'd driven up to Logan, listened to the whole thing, and now I was on my second time through. And so I was driving down the road, I had like one more errand. I was going to go to the cheese store in Logan, and then I was going to go home. And I had to hurry home because it was around Thanksgiving time, and I was hosting Thanksgiving at my house, and I needed to get some yams ready and some deviled eggs ready that day so that I could be more prepared for the next day, which was my family's Thanksgiving, even though it wasn't. We have it before. So anyway, so I was driving down the road, and I see these two missionaries, these two, elders that were just walking up the street. And as I see them, I kind of pass by them. I know that I have something for them in my car. Like that's the prompting that I feel, is that I have something for them in my car. And I'm like, oh my goodness, there they are. And I'm driving, and I kind of feel like the thing that I have for them in my car is my brand new John By the Way CD that I've only listened to once, and my husband's never even heard. And I'm like, well, no, surely the Lord wouldn't want me to give them that. It's going to bless my own family. And I have two brand new copies of one of my CDs. Like, I have I'm a motivational speaker also. Like, I have two copies of my CD there. Surely I can give them one of those, right? And surely that will bless their lives. And I kind of feel like it's a John By the Way CD, but I was like, no, trying to push that aside, like something else. Like, I had just given a talk up in Logan, and I had a big basket of bread and cookies and candies and all kinds of treats and stuff. I was like, surely there's something in my car other than the John By the Way CD that these missionaries need. And so I turned my car around. Well, maybe I should tell you that I really didn't want to turn my car around because it's kind of embarrassing, and you don't really want to go and approach somebody and be like, hey, I think you have, the Spirit told me you needed something from my car. So go ahead and have whatever you want. I don't know what I was going to do. So before I did, I pulled my car over, and I was like, Heavenly Father, please just tell me, are you sure? Are you sure this is what you want me to do? Because I really don't want to, and it's going to be embarrassing, and you really need to tell me kind of loud because I'm not sure I can do this. And I can't shake the feeling, even though I'm really trying hard to shake that feeling. I think that's what, when you try to talk Heavenly Father out of it, you're like, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do this? But I can't shake that feeling, so I'm like, okay. So I turn around, and I drive back up the road, and I don't see the missionaries. And I get so excited. I'm like, yes, it was just a test of faith. It wasn't even a real prompting. And then I turn around to come back down the road, and I look down a side street. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. Just kidding, I should have looked. I was actually looking for the missionaries. And so I looked down a side street, and there's the missionaries. I see them. And I was like, okay, there they are, And so I pull, I go down the side street, and I pull up next to them, and I was like, hi, elders. This is terribly awkward. I'm not even pulled all the way over on the road. I'm just kind of halfway, pulled off on the side. And these two elders are so nice and so smiley and so friendly, And I just tell them, I was like, are you guys hungry? Are you thirsty? I have brand new water bottles, and I have all this food, and so I'm kind of loading them up, Here's some water bottles, here's a loaf of bread, here's some, treats, and I can't remember what I gave them from the gift basket, but, they took what they wanted, and they're like, oh, well, thanks, that's so nice of you. They were so grateful and so gracious, but I just kept feeling like I had not given them what it was in my car that I had to give them. And I just sighed. I was like, okay. And I asked them, I said, do you guys like John By the Way? And both of their eyes lit up, yeah, we love John By the Way. Really, who doesn't love John By the Way? And I said, well, I have his brand new CD. It's not in the stores yet. He actually just gave it to me. Would you guys like it? And they're like, oh, yeah. If you're sure, they were really excited about it. And so I just ejected it from my CD player, and I pulled it out, and I put it back in the brand new case, and I gave it to the missionaries. I said, here you go, you guys can have this. And when I handed them that John By the Way CD, I felt like I'd given them what it was in my car that they needed. I mean, they didn't need the water bottles. They didn't need the treats. Like, I'd given them what I came to give them. And then the one missionary asked if he could say a prayer with me. And I was like, okay. I was kind of ready to go because I was really crunched on time. And I really needed to get to the cheese store if I was going to get home on time so I could have time to make the yams and the deviled eggs. And, I just needed to hurry. But I was like, okay, I would love to say a prayer with you. And so he says this very nice, very sweet, very loving prayer, blessing me for my efforts to follow the Spirit and asking for a special blessing on me that my needs will be taken care of as I follow the Spirit. And that touched my heart, that my needs would be taken care of as I obeyed the promptings of the Holy Spirit to guide me in different directions. And so it touched my heart, and we closed, and I said goodbye to these two elders, and I drove on my way. I went to the cheese store. I was in and out just super fast. I had to get home fast. Get back in my car, drive down the road. I'm kind of, pushing the speed limit. I don't speed, but I was pushing it. And as I'm doing so, I think of a friend that I have who also lives in Logan, and I have extra stuff still left in my gift basket. And the thought comes to me that I need to take her a loaf of bread that I have in my gift basket. And I think, if I do, then I'm probably going to chat for a little while, and I'm going to get home so late, and I've already been gone since this morning talking and driving, and I'm not going to have time to make yams and deviled eggs for tomorrow. But then I remembered the missionary's prayer, that my needs would be taken care of as I obeyed the promptings of the Spirit. And so I was like, okay. So I gave her a call, and she said she was nearby. She wasn't at her house, which was near where I was. She was like, in the city over. So I was like, okay, this is a big sacrifice. I recognize at this moment that I'm not going to make yams and deviled eggs, that this is not on my to-do list any longer. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of hoping that it is, but I can see that this is going to take some time. So I drive to the next city over, find out where she is, and we have a nice long chat, and I give her the loaf of bread and the rest of the treats that were in there. I save one treat for my husband so I can have proof that I really did get a gift basket. And, we just have this nice talk, and then we're done. And then I drive home, and I have an hour plus drive on the way home, and no John By the Way CD to listen to, but that's okay. I wasn't grumpy. So I get home, and I do my best to get the yams done. I quick put them in the pot, so they can at least be cooked, even if I have to do the rest of the steps, the next day. So they're cooking, and the eggs are already cooked, and peeled, actually. The eggs were already cooked and peeled because I'd done those the day before. But I was like, okay, this is probably as much as I can do, and my sweet little daughter was, running around. I was helping her get ready for bed because it had taken me all day to do all these errands. And then my husband had a phone call. So he's, on a conference call in his office, and my daughter and I are bustling around trying to get her ready for bed. And it's later than her bedtime. It's around like 8 o'clock at night. Maybe not that late, maybe like 7:30. And it's really cold outside, and it's really dark, because it's wintertime. And then there's a knock at the door. And I'm kind of a little bit scared because I was like, well, who's knocking at my door in the dark? And so I kind of go over there. Oh, you know what? My husband didn't have a conference call. I just remembered. He was at a meeting. And so Zula, my little daughter, and I were home alone. Okay, that's what happened. Because I remembered my husband wasn't there, but I couldn't remember exactly which one it was. Okay, anyway, you guys are on the same page as me now. So then there's a knock at the door, and I'm a little hesitant to open it because my husband's not home. That's what it is. And so I just kind of peek, and I was like, hello, and I hear this other little voice on the other end, hi, it's the missionaries, And I was like, oh, hi, I didn't open the door yet because I didn't believe them because I never see the missionaries in my neighborhood tracting or anything. And they're like, it's the sister missionaries from your ward. And I was like, oh, okay, so I finally opened the door, and it really was sister missionaries. One was from San Francisco, and I think the other one was from I actually can't remember where she was from. Or no, she was from Oakland. One was from Oakland, one was from somewhere else. Anyway, so they come in, And that was so sweet. So they sit down and we have just a little nice conversation, and it was so fun for Zula, my little daughter, and I was like, oh, these are the sister missionaries. Don't you want to be a sister missionary when you grow up? Things like that, getting her excited, and she was singing them songs, and we were just having a good time. And then I learned that the sister missionaries had been tracting through my neighborhood for quite some time, and they were just frozen. And before they got like right across the street from my house, everyone had said no. Everyone had said no, don't come in, And when they were just across the street from my house, they both had stopped and said a prayer and said, please, Heavenly Father, we're so cold. Bless the next person that we knock on their door, that they'll let us in. And that was me. And I felt so good to be the answer to their prayer so that they could come in and be warm, because I didn't realize that they were just cold and tracting. And so I was so glad that they were there. And then they were like, well, I guess it's, then they shared with me that they had to stay out for a certain amount more time. And that they were just probably going to go tract some more. And so they stood up to leave, and they said, before we go, is there anything that we can do for you? And I think everyone's initial reaction to that is, oh no, I'm good, thanks. And that was my initial reaction too. But as I was saying it, an image of my yams and my deviled eggs that I needed to make for the next day came into my mind. And I said, you know what, if you really have to stay out for another certain amount of time, I think they had to stay out for another hour, I said, would you mind helping me finish my yams and deviled eggs? And they were so excited. They washed their hands, and then they were cutting the eggs and cutting the yams and putting them all together in the pans and covering them with tin foil, putting them in the fridge so that they'd be ready for the next day. I was so happy. I was so happy. I never would have been able to do that. I had to get my daughter in bed, and then just by myself to cut all those yams and to cut all those eggs and to, do all that stuff. That would have taken me too long. I'm too slow with my paralyzed hands. I'm just too slow. But with these two sister missionaries, I was blessed in just such a huge, miraculous way. And then when they left, actually, I took them home because they don't have a car, and they, I didn't want them to walk all the way back to their house, which was actually kind of a distance. So I took them home, and I was able to help them, in that small way. But they helped me in a huge way. And then when I went to bed that night, my heart was so full because I had listened to the Spirit and acted courageously, nervously and courageously, and given, tracked down those elders and given them the John By the Way CD, and then had that special prayer that as I followed the Spirit, my own needs would be met. And then as I went and visited my other friend and had that, spiritual prompting to visit my other friend, and I did so, truly, my own needs were met, and not just by anybody, but by another set of missionaries. So I just thought that was such a wonderful experience and not a coincidence. So I'm just so grateful for that, and I'm grateful that I can share this in this video with you. Thank you for watching it. Thank you for appreciating it. Thank you for recognizing the truthfulness of it, and for sharing it with people who maybe are not seeing tender mercies as often as they would like to in their own lives. They really do abound in our lives if we're looking for them. So thanks again so much for watching. There's more videos that you can click on. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Come and visit me on my website, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Those links are in the description. So thanks again, and we will see you next time.